Okay, in this lesson we're going to continue with fractions, and this time we're going to do dividing fractions and the rules of dividing fractions. Now I'm going to show you the long way, the usual long way, and then I'm going to give you a shortcut using the reciprocal, okay, and which you've learned it in the last section when we did multiplying fractions. So the regular rule of division is the same as the multiplication. Basically, what you do to the top, you do to the bottom as well. So in this case, like, let's look at example 1. So example A, all right, 1/8 divided by 1/2. This is what you would do. You just divide the top, the numerators, you divide. The denominators, you divide. So basically, you're doing 1 divided by 1, all of that over 8 divided by 2. And basically, what is 1 divided by 1? That's 1. What is 8 divided by 2? That is 4. And that's 1/4. Great. That's very good, right? Look at example B. Same idea. Okay, I'm not going to write it the long way anymore. You just divide the numerators, divide the denominators. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 12 divided by 4, so 15 divided by 5 is 3, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3, and the final answer is 1. Okay, all right, great. But notice that both of these questions, notice that the first number, even on top, the first fraction basically is the numerator and the denominator bigger, the larger than the other numerators and denominators. So 15 is bigger than 5, 12 is bigger than 4, so we could have divided, and that's very easy. But what if you can't? What if the other one? What if it's the other way around? You can't. It will get very complicated. Okay, so let me give you an example. So here it is. Now we can use the regular rule that we just used. Okay, so 1 divided by 1, here it is, 1 divided by 1 is 1. On top you're okay with. 2 divided by 8, this is what we have to write. 2 divided by 8. Well, 2 divided by 8, that's, you have to know what that is. Now it's not 8 divided by 2, don't make a mistake. It's not 4, it's 2 divided by 8. So let me write it like that, 2 divided by 8, and let's change that to a fraction. You know how to do that. We did that in a few lessons ago. That's the fraction. Now, what is 2 divided by 8? Okay, you can simplify it, and notice that it's going to get really complicated. So basically, what you have is this ugly thing. It's 1 divided by 1 over 2 over 8. What is that? That doesn't look very happy. So we have a shortcut. We're going to use what is called as reciprocal. So this is what you would do. So you write the first fraction as is, but the second fraction you change the sign from division to multiplication. Okay, so that's now changed from division to multiplication, and then you use the reciprocal of the second fraction. So 8 over 1 becomes, 1 over 8 becomes 8 over 1. And now, because it's a multiplication, you just multiply the top, multiply the top numbers, numerators, and multiply the denominators, and then you go through it that way. So in this case would be 8 over 2. 8 over 2 is 4. Okay, and that's just a typical division. But that's what you got to use. You're using the reciprocal. Okay, that's what you're using. Reciprocal of 1 over 8, and you're changing the sign from division to multiplication, and then you're going to use the multiplication. And this is the shortcut, unless you're very good at using 1 over 2 over 8, which is the reciprocal of 8 over 2, and 8 over 2 is 4. Like, you know, later on in upper grade, you will realize that this right here is actually reciprocal of 2 over 8 because it's a 1 on top, and it becomes 8 over 2. But for now, you can do that flip. Okay, that's what you would do, and that's it. Okay, look at this question. All right, so negative 2/3 in bracket divided by bracket negative 7 divided by negative 12, or negative 7 over negative 12. Okay, first let's simplify this as much as we can. Notice that there is a division of two numbers with the same sign, so immediately you can actually change that to positive. So I'm going to rewrite the question, negative 2/3 divided by, that's 7 over 12. So you can do that right away because we have these two negative numbers divide by each other, two negatives beside each other dividing, that becomes positive. Excellent. Now we're going to go through and we're going to do the whole mathematical gymnastic with division of fractions. So first fraction, we write it the way it is. We're going to change the division sign to multiplication sign, and we're going to flip or use the reciprocal of 7 over 12, which is 12 over 7. That's what we're going to do, reciprocal. Now we're going to go through and we're going to multiply, or multiply the top, right? The final answer will end up being negative because there's a negative number here. That's a negative fraction. That's a positive fraction. So your final answer will end up being a negative number. Great. And now we can multiply the top, multiply the bottom. So you can do that right away, or you can simplify before multiplying it. So what does that mean? 12 and 3. Do you see 12 is on top here and 3 is in denominator, and you can actually think of these fraction extending right through like that. Okay, so that's what you can think of. So you can actually do that. 12 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 12 4 times, and now we have negative 2 times 8. So we got the negative there. 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, now if you didn't like doing that right away, you could go. Okay, so we can actually multiply. Here we go. That's what we're going to do, multiply the numerators. So the answer will be negative. So 2 times 12 is 24, and then over 21. And then from this point on, you say, okay, what goes into 24 and 21 evenly? Well, 3 goes, right? So we can do 3 goes into 20 is 4. 8 times 3 goes in 21 into 21 7 times. Your final answer will be, so your final answer will be negative, here we go, negative 8 over 7, which is the same as what we have there.